Thomas, what did we say?
I dropped my phone, I think, down the side of the seat.
No,
yeah.
I can see it in your pocket.
Yeah, no, I gotta get
hey,
my phone.
No,
No, I want to stay. No,
Thomas, you can't keep the cars.
No,
we review them for the day, and we
like
gotta go home.
I like this one.
No.
You're watching Throttle House. I'm Thomas.
And I'm James, and this is the Cadillac CT6-V
Blackwing.
No, not Blackwing, just the engine is called Blackwing.
Blackwing.
CT6-V. Thomas is insisting on calling this a Blackwing. It's not a Blackwing, the engine is a Blackwing. And it's a hand-built 4.2 litre twin-turbo V8. And it's built in the Corvette assembly in Kentucky. And this one today has actually been built by a lady named Kathy, who has beautiful handwriting.
All right, Blackwing. We just did a burnout.
Woo! Now Thomas is going to call it a Blackwing a million bloody times, and I'm just going to give him amnesty on this one because it doesn't matter what you call this. It's phenomenal.
The reason I'm calling this a Blackwing is because, well, Cadillac's naming system is confusing and stupid, and Blackwing is one of the coolest names associated with any car ever, and it gets its own logo. Also, this Blackwing V8 is special because Cadillac claims to have made it exclusively for this car. And like the AMG engines, it has a hot V configuration, which helps with packaging, thermal control, and essentially eliminates turbo lag. So the Blackwing pumps out 550 horsepower and 640 pound-feet of torque with ease and efficiency.
So theoretically, this car ticks a lot of boxes right out of the gate. Powerful V8, check. Engine with a badass name, check. All-wheel drive, check. But here's the sad part. This CT6-V with the Blackwing V8 will be a very limited run, as the production in America, which has near as much just begun, is already at its end, somehow, making this a rare bird indeed. So, when the owner of this car took delivery from a dealership, only to find that his brand new black Cadillac's paint was covered in swirls, he took it to Ceramic Pro in Vaughan for a complete paint correction and Ceramic Pro application, which means that today, it looks flawless. And if you're new to Throttle House, we do car reviews, track tests, and quite a lot of messing about. So subscribe and hit the bell.
All right, we are in track mode. Everything's turned off. This digital gauge cluster is customizable, and I've made it look the coolest version of itself. So I've got a white center V gauge. We're shifting manually, and I can already tell you that this is one of the best driving big sedans I've ever been in. Makes a 7 Series feel like a Lexus ES.
More performance than a 750 Li, more performance than an S560, and those cars are both like 30 or 40 grand more than this. This touches on S63 power. It has 640 pound-feet of torque. Just to put that into proportion, that's like Corvette Z06 level torque. It's unbelievable. This thing hits 60 miles an hour in 3.8 seconds.
Come around. Oh, that's so good. The rear goes so easily. It is a riot. I'm not kidding when I say that it wants to lose the back end. I mean, like, yeah, it's a long wheelbase executive sedan, and it has all the good stuff like active rear wheel steering, so it turns really tightly in the parking lots and is stable at high speeds. But the coolest part for me is that in the different modes, it changes the bias of where the power goes front to back. So in touring mode, it puts 60% of the torque to the rear and 40% to the front. In sport mode, it puts 80% of the torque to the rear, 20% to the front. But the only one that actually matters to me is track mode, and it puts 95% of the torque to the rear and 5% to the front. I can't believe this, but I am reviewing this car as if it were an M3. I just can't help it. It turns in so well, and the rear goes so easily under throttle. It's actually not even just under throttle, it naturally oversteers going into a corner. You just turn in and you feel the mass of the car start to move around. And since the wheelbase is very long, obviously, because it's a big, long executive sedan, nothing happens too quickly at the limit. And it's very well communicated through the chassis and through the steering.
The sound changes in every mode. I'm in sport mode right now, and you get that V8 bellow. There's other modes, there's touring, sport, and track. There's also snow. I'm hoping the sound in snow mode's like jingle bells or something, but it's probably just a muted V8.
And while the shifts themselves are fast, the delay between when I select the next gear up and when it actually happens is pretty long. The paddle shifting experience isn't perfect.
Because obviously at under 100 grand, and it is just under 100 grand, you're expecting some things. But to have this level of performance, this has MagnaRide. So not only does it adjust things like sound and throttle response and steering weight, in different modes, the ride changes very significantly. And you wouldn't think an executive sedan like this would ever see the track. But driving this today, I feel that same frustration and need to take it on a track than I did when we test drove a Supra on the road.
GM has some of the best steering right now in cars. And while this does have a little bit of a soft section right on center, it's still amazing. Really, really positive communication of those front tires. Natural weight builds. This is one of the most fun vehicles, full stop, that I have driven this year. We're not allowed to say swear words on YouTube, but I'm having a truckin' good time in this car.
I'm feeling a connection to this car that I wasn't expecting. There are some things it's doing to me that I wasn't expecting as well. One of the things is a warning system, and you almost feel like it wants to hit you on the side of the head, but it can't. Instead, it vibrates the seat if it senses a hazard while parking and moving around in small spaces. When it first happens, it's very unwelcome. But after the first time, it's very welcome. And also, unless you have everything turned off and you start to lose the rear end a little bit, the seatbelt aggressively tightens and pulls you back in.
And I feel like I should be telling you how comfortable it is and how good the ride is, but I can't help but review it as a race car. It's so fast. It has a mechanical limited slip differential in the rear, and it just drives like a sports car. I don't know how else to say it. However, I will force myself to do it. We'll put it down into touring mode. It quiets down, exhaust gets quieter, steering gets lighter, it's easy to drive. It's not as smooth and nice as a 7 Series or an S-Class, but it strikes a very good balance.
There's no way an executive sedan should drive this well. But looking forward and driving this, I would think I'm driving an M3 competitor. It's only when I look back and put all of our lives in danger that I realize how long this car is. The only crime that Cadillac has made with this car is discontinuing it. Now we're going to talk about the interior in a minute. When you get this level of performance for under 100 grand, the car has to make some sacrifices. So if we pick it apart, which we may or may not, just know that it really doesn't matter.
Well,
drives fantastically.
yes.
Fantastically.
Yes. Ooh, you see that?
No?
Watch this mirror.
Ooh, it does
This
shake.
whole area
And you're not
shakes.
even incentivized to close it slowly because
There's no soft close.
there's no soft close.
No, I did notice that.
Yeah. Styling?
I don't know. They haven't really changed their design language much since The Matrix Reloaded.
No, but it's a safe thing. People love
Yes.
this design, right?
It's
looks
good. I
super
don't mind it.
executive in the black. It looks pretty baller.
Yep.
We've got the V stuff, so we've got the V badging, the black mesh grille,
Yes.
and there's a carbon fiber spoiler as well.
I saw that. Also, huge brakes. Look at those.
Yeah, these are the 4-piston brakes that come standard. That's the draw of this car, is that for the 98 grand that you pay, whatever it is in American dollars, it all comes with it. There's barely any customization.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's big. It doesn't look that big, but it's big. This is about the same wheelbase as a 7 Series.
It is long, actually.
Yeah, it is. And at nighttime, it has the executive walk-up, so it lights up the ground.
Of course.
I like that. It's a
You gotta
fun
have
thing.
it. You
It's a
gotta have
welcome
it.
thing. The exhausts are real.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Thank God.
And this has the thing where you stick your foot under it and it opens the boot. A lot of cars have that, but
Yeah.
it never seems to
It never
work
works
for
for
me. I just
James.
do that
It's
and
so
nothing
funny.
ever happens.
Yeah.
See?
Yes!
Oh my God.
Yes! He's so happy.
I just have to go call my mum.
Okay.
All right, so there are some things I love about this interior,
Yeah.
and some things I not so love.
I also have some
Right.
likes and
I
dislikes.
imagine it will be like when I have children one day, you know? So first things first, the comfort level. These are quite stiff seats.
Adequate. It's adequate.
It's adequate, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
This kind of goes up against G90, S-Class, 7 Series.
These are really hard. The seats are really stiff. It's not. Also, this headrest isn't powered, and it's definitely powered on the 7 Series and the A8. Right?
Yeah.
So,
no, don't forget how much this undercuts them in price.
No,
but
I know.
It doesn't undercut the G90.
The G90.
But then it massively destroys it in performance.
Yes.
Anyway,
Okay.
I really like the carbon fiber everywhere, and again, it's standard. This is the best answer to piano black I've ever seen.
Oh, instead of piano black.
Right, like how many
Absolutely.
manufacturers just throw piano black everywhere?
Yeah, and this is a nice perforated leather.
Yeah.
And there's hardly anything that's going to give fingerprints here except for these little touch panels down here, which, by the way, are the cheapest thing
I don't like that, yeah.
Like, okay, so like they creak and like the whole thing kind of, it's not awesome. However, we've got this mode here where I can select to have the heat on my back and my bum, or
just your back.
Yeah, it's very cool. I like that.
It just, there's lots of bacon strips.
There's lots of bacon
everywhere.
strips going on.
Yeah.
Steering wheel's nice.
I really like the steering wheel.
It's heated.
And
It's nice.
unlike BMW, this steering wheel is different in every Cadillac. I went through the model range.
To make sure,
Escalade, CT5, they're all different steering wheels.
Yes.
And it has the carbon fiber on it.
Yeah, no, I like the carbon fiber. There is a lot of buttons. Like there's maybe, like there's...
What are you, anti-buttons?
No, I'm not anti-buttons.
All right.
But
Well, it sounds like it.
poor buttons.
I'm going to speak to the union. Real aluminium shift pedals.
Yeah, they're nice. Digital gauge cluster.
Which is slightly customizable. Not massively, but you can change it.
I like it. I like the combination of analog and digital gauges. I don't like the fully digital. I like how there's like the physical gauge.
Well, this has also got that cool animation when you switch.
Yeah. One thing that I do like actually is that they kept a lot of like the engine data that you might find in like an SS1LE or something, right? Oil temperature, battery voltage, brake pad life, tire pressure. Like it's really cool to see that on, like I don't need to know that stuff in an
Would you
electric
track
car.
this? Would you track a CT6-V?
I would track anything if you let me track it.
If it was your CT6-V?
Sure, why not? At least once.
All right.
At least once.
So this has a 34 speaker Bose Panerai sound system.
Yes, and this rises out of the dash. It's very cool. So many
Is
speakers.
it a thing, sound
Where do they put them?
guys? Is that a thing that the more speakers you add, the better it gets? Because I feel like
It turns out it might not be, because we tested this sound system later and we weren't too impressed.
it doesn't get better than
Yeah, because like I've heard some sound systems that are just two really good speakers, and that's all you need.
You're just gonna buy a car at some point and there's gonna be a speaker.
It's just the back
Yeah,
seat.
it's gonna be Cadillac by Dre.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, please don't do that.
Don't actually do that.
Yeah, but this is pretty easy to use. It's pretty quick to respond. It has teen driver mode.
Yes.
Which just...
So you can select buttons that don't work for your teen.
But what teen's driving a CT6-V?
I don't know.
America's a weird place. But one of my other favorite things as well is that the wireless charging port is here. So you just slide your phone
just
in
slide
there.
your phone in. That is
and
very neat, isn't
And
it?
if you want to attach it to things, it just goes through there.
It's clever. It's a good design.
It
That
charges
is
right
a
there,
good design.
And I can grab it if I want to.
Yep.
Like I haven't seen a car do it.
No,
as
usually
well as
it's like down past your knee or,
Or
like
it's
up to your
or it's
armpit.
in there.
Yeah,
inside.
exactly.
This is really good.
Let's check out the back seat.
Okay. I miss soft close.
These doors feel a little cheap, you know?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to reevaluate how I end my relationships. But we do have some cool controls.
Yes, we do.
control the rear shade.
Oh yeah, that's automatic, but these are manual, the ones on the windows.
Yeah, so it's spacious in here.
It is, however,
Again, not that soft.
no, the seats aren't super comfortable. And like compared to the 7 Series and the G90, which are very like loungy, this isn't really that as much. They're nice and there's tons of knee room, but like, so it's not as nice as the G90 back here.
Yeah, because even though it has like nice flair for the cabin with the carbon fiber, like the headliner is not Alcantara.
Yeah,
it feels
I know.
very budget.
It does, yeah. Dual sunroof though, that's nice. We do have screens that rise out of the back of the seats, and there's a remote control to control them. You can split what goes on each screen as well, right?
They're
So there's
not
HDMI.
touchscreens,
They're not
though.
touchscreens,
No.
no, they're not. But overall, the back of this car, it does fit the price based on what we know is available for price, right? Like the G90, slower engine, obviously, but much nicer interior.
Yeah, this doesn't feel, it doesn't feel bad, it just doesn't feel new.
No, it doesn't quite
Right?
feel
and the
as...
CT6 was all new not too long ago.
Yeah, no, there's a level of superficiality to this. Is that a thing? Superficiality?
Yeah, I just call it Thomas.
So while the interior might be a bit superficial feeling, apparently like me, the car as a whole is much more than skin deep. The CT6-V is a brilliant driving vehicle. In fact, the only letdowns are the transmission, which we found a bit jerky and thick-headed to respond, and the red line, which felt a bit restricting for such a strong power plant. But if you can get past that, the driving experience is almost perfect.
So if you can't tell already, this vehicle impressed us, and then some. It does have its limitations, but then, with power numbers verging on competition that costs almost double, we think that those can be overlooked in favour of its positives. Not least of which is the thing that lurks under the hood.
Blackwing!
Yes, Thomas, the Blackwing.